it is Elisa here, or the Diamond Stitcher as I go by on YouTube and Instagram. Hello, good morning or good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you're having a wonderful one. If you are new to my channel, first off, welcome. I'm happy you found me, and I hope you would consider subscribing and stick around for all things diamond painting. And if you are returning, thank you so much for your continued support. It's been a while, you guys, since I've sat down and filmed a WIP and Chat. WIP and Chat, WIP, stands for work in progress, and it refers to the diamond painting you are working on, or diamond paintings for those of you with multiple WIPs. And Chat stands for chat. So what I usually do when I do these kind of videos, I work on my diamond painting and I just give you kind of updates on life. There's always updates on life lately. Maybe some thoughts and feelings that have come up over the last few weeks. And yeah, we just catch up. Don't forget to let me know how you are doing in the comments too. While I love updating you, and I know I've gotten so many messages since the last WIP and Chat, you know, people wishing me well and making sure I'm okay. I want to let you know that I am very thankful and very grateful that so many of you actually care and take the time out of your day to, one, even think of me, and two, actually reach out and message me. It does mean a lot. Sometimes I don't answer or I forget. Usually it's not that I don't answer. I read every message. It's just I forget to go back and respond, because usually when I'm feeling really sick, that's when I will just lay kind of motionless and scroll through social media, check messages and such, but I feel too sick to respond. So I usually wait until I'm feeling a bit better, and by that time my memory is full of holes that I forget who I need to respond to. So do know that I do read every message, every comment. Even if you tag me on the Facebook group or on social media, I usually see it. As long as it pops up in my notifications, I usually do see it, and I really thank you all for caring. I really do. That's what I love about the community that I feel I've built, is we are a great supportive group of people, mostly women, though we do have some men on board, and we just all care about each other, and that's what I've always wanted. I'm just so grateful. But enough of the mushy stuff. So what am I working on today? I'm actually working on this. Let me actually show you the paper, which I photocopied. I was going to say I photocopied the sticker sheet, but I didn't. I forgot, and I reached out to support, and they sent me the PDF copy. So that's a tip that if you like having a walking legend, that's what this piece of paper is called. There's obviously the legend you can see here on the left side of the camera there. When I'm working on my diamond painting, I actually work on it rolled up usually. So half of the legend I can't access. And I'm usually diamond painting on the couch, so it's very awkward. So I like having a paper legend nearby that I can quickly reference. I just find it faster for me to find colors if they're not jumping out at me right away, or if I don't yet remember where they are in my containers. You know, once you've been working on diamond painting for a while, I don't know about you guys, but I start remembering where certain numbers are or certain symbols are in the setup of my containers. But until then, I do reference this. If you forget to take a picture of the sticker sheet, which I always do, all you have to do is email support@diamondartclub.com and ask them for the PDF copy, and then I print it. I do print it in color. It's probably a waste, but I prefer it because then the color symbols are here, right? It's all colored. It's a lot easier on the eyes and easier to match things up than if I printed this in black and white, so I don't care much about that. But this kit did have 70 colors, so I just cut out the last 3 and put them up there. So I just had one sheet here. It's also nice and big so I can see it. I actually don't know how to make it smaller, because usually I will print it right from the email to my printer. I don't usually go on my laptop, so it just always prints this big, but a half a page would be nice. I haven't figured out how to do that. If you guys know how to do that from your phone, let me know. But this is called Chroma by Margaret Morales. This one was a relatively new release. It's one of the last releases they did for her paintings. And I just love the colors so much. When I finished my last WIP, I knew I wanted to work on this one for my May diamond painting event. And here we are. I'm actually almost more than halfway done. What I will do at the end is I will show you the finished part up there, just because I have everything laid out here. We'll just do the usual style WIP and Chat, and then I'll show you the upper parts at the end here. Few things I'm using, Yellow Dog Designs. Now, I did not do an unboxing specifically for this tray, but I did want to share it. As you can see, it's small. So this is a newer version of their tray they've come out with. This one is it's called the narrow tray, and it says it on the side there as well. version 1, this one says. It does have that washi tape ledge down here too. And actually, this is something neat that I did because I work on the couch usually and my lap desk is tilted a little bit. This tray always slides down off the plastic. It's very slippery. So I remember one time one of my followers suggested putting these little silicone feet on the backside of the tray. It just provides it a little bit of grip so it's not so slippery. And I finally decided to try it and it's been working. So these are removable. If I don't like them, I can take them off, but it's been really helpful. This is the tray that I use the most. But in this painting, especially in some of the sections, there's only a very small amount of colors. So I thought I would order this from Yellow Dog Designs and try it out. It's obviously much smaller than the narrow tray. This is kind of, I would say, almost equivalent to the boats that you get in regular diamond painting toolkits. However, obviously much improved, much upgraded. It's a 3D printed tray. It's just a smaller size. And I've used it a few times and it is titled Small Version 1. I always get white, as you know, for my eyes. Yellow Dog Designs, you hear them a lot on my channel. They are a Canadian company. They ship worldwide. Don't know if that's going to focus. There we go. Yellow Dog Designs, Canadian shop. I always forget which province they are in. I always get it wrong. Alberta, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, Manitoba. I really can't remember. I don't know why I cannot remember that, but I love their trays. I pulled out this pen. I've actually used a couple different pens. I wonder if I can get the lighting to be a bit better. Then it's glaring. That kind of made it worse, didn't it? I don't know if I can get this pen to focus. There we go. So this is a pretty resin pen from Custom Pens by TJ. They are a USA small shop. I've had this pen for a while. I love there's a shimmery, glittery powder in here too. I just really like the turning style. It's super comfortable to diamond paint with. I was going to say lightweight, but it's actually not really lightweight. It's kind of like a medium weight, I would say. It does feel heavy when I think of diamond painting pens, but it's not too heavy that it's uncomfortable. I just wanted to use this one. So I've pulled this one out. Of course, I have my Bent Everlasting single tip here. That's an Australian small shop. I have my 6-placer from Diamond Art Club here. I am using Creations Marin putty right now. I've used a few different putties for the duration of this painting, but more recently, I switched it out again for this one. I really like Joni's putty. It works well most of the time. I've got a little bit of washi tape. I'll show you what I use that for. And then I pulled this out. This is a resin trinket tray is what it's called. It has kind of a ledge around the outside. So what it's really handy for is well, I guess don't do that, you guys. But theoretically, it should be like this. I've got a cover minder there. And your pen's not going to roll off the table. Whereas if you put it down here and you're on a bit of a slant, it's going to roll, right? So this will help prevent your pen from falling on the floor and snapping in half. Angie, I think her shop name, Sparkle Addiction Art is what it's called now on Etsy. And she made this for me. I think it's really pretty. She added some extra crystals on top. So it's a bit of a textured look, but I love how the way the colored resin went. She also puts little silicone feet on here and there is a little magnet. There should be a trash drill bowl here, but I actually put it in one of my prize packs. I don't use the trash bowls often, but you can put it there if you want. She makes customs still, I believe, and then she also has some on her Etsy listed, but this was a nice one she made me. I thought I would pull it out for today. And then I've got a couple cover minders in use here. These are just from the Diamond Art Club toolkits. I really like their perforated cover. I know I've seen mixed reviews online about people liking it, hating it, in between, yada yada. I really like it, you guys. The one thing that I'm excited for is when they do start releasing kits with the upgraded perforated cover, which will have visible dotted lines, they said, so that you can see the perforations. Right now what I'm doing is I'm using just a thin roll of washi tape to outline the perforations. It works absolutely fine. It's just an extra step. It doesn't take long at all, but when they do upgrade it to be visible, I don't think I'll need washi tape at all. I don't even put washi tape around the borders of my canvases anymore, especially because Diamond Art Club, their glue doesn't really extend past the drill field much, and also the nature of my pets, their hair doesn't really float around the air much during the day, and where I work on it, the cat's not usually around, so I don't worry about you know, pet hair getting stuck in the extra glue. And I'm usually in a t-shirt because my body doesn't know how to regulate temperature, so I don't have sleeves that can get into that glue. So I really only use washi right now to just outline where the perforations are. Otherwise, I'm loving this perforated cover. I think it's a genius idea. I know a lot of people are very picky. Maybe it's OCD. But they don't like that the perforations are not exactly lined up to the lines of the grid. You guys, think of how many paintings their factory is making a day, how many plastic covers are getting put on canvases. Could you imagine if one person had to meticulously, actually, it would take more than one person. It would probably take 4 or 6 people to lay a perforated cover down on a canvas, making sure that it lines up 100% exactly. You guys, that is asking too much, in my humble opinion. I find Diamond Art Club's glue is such high quality that even if, let me just pull some of this back here. Actually, this one's almost done, so I'm going to rip this off. I will finish that one. But can you kind of see? So I don't know if you can see. I don't want to zoom in too much here. You can kind of see here between the diamond and where the washi tape is, there's a little bit of a space. There's maybe a millimeter of glue. Actually, not even. This one actually lined up pretty darn close. Yeah, that one's pretty close. But what I was going to say, if there's a tiny bit of glue exposed, by the time I get down to the next section, which would be, you know, when I come back down here, that glue is still sticky. So even though it might be exposed to air for a couple of days, it's still sticky. So there's no issue with it drying out at all or anything like that. So really, you guys, I don't care that it's not 100% perfect. I mean, if I was that anal, I would probably just tear the entire row off and then put it down the way I wanted. But I'm really not that picky. I think it works great and I'm loving it. So let's get started before I continue on and no diamond painting gets done. This is actually the first time I've diamond painted in quite a few days. Some of you may remember or know, if you've followed me on my Facebook group, that's where I usually give updates when I'm not so active on YouTube, when I'm not like having WIP and chats. Because I'm not feeling good, what I tend to do is do updates on the Facebook group. So if you're not part of our Facebook group, please join. It's called DAC Fans Canada. There's always a link to it in every video that I post. Look at these crystals, you guys. It's probably not going to focus because the background, look at those. They look like diamonds. These are from Diamond Art Club. These were charted in. I just see one spot here that needs one. So I'm going to put that in. I don't think any more in this section are needed. Nope. Now I lost my train of thought, but I love these Harbor Freight containers. I'm using my big Harbor Freight tower. Maybe I'll pan over it at the end. I really like these because as you see, I just have to pop the lid off and I can stick my pen in here easily. If I just need one or two 5 diamonds, that's all I do. I don't bother pouring it into a tray. So I'm really liking this setup. It's a little tedious, you know, having to still pour diamonds in and out, but it's actually not that bad, you guys. If I'm not using this Harbor Freight tower, then what I usually am using these days are my catered tray bricks. And I actually ordered another full set of them. So I hope to have, I think I aim to have like 65 to 70 because I really don't like doing diamond paintings with more than 70 colors. It's just, I find, especially if they're smaller diamond paintings, it just adds more confetti, which I don't like. So I try to stick to colors under 70. So I'm going to have hopefully 2 full sets of that so that I can, I'm just, sorry, trying to zoom in here a little bit more, so that I can use those because I think it is going to cut down on my diamond painting time a little bit, like the pouring in and out of diamonds. When you have chronic pain and nerve conditions to your arms, every shortcut that you can do helps. So I noticed when I work on my diamond painting that I have in the tray bricks right now, I can diamond paint for longer, more comfortably. So that's why I decided to go ahead and get another set. I feel like they are affordable for what they are. I think they work great. I'm not having any static issues at all with the new design. I got used to the lids fairly quickly. They actually didn't bother me much at all. I was a little bit worried about that because they're not removable, so if they would get in the way, but they don't. Because I am a right-handed diamond painter, it doesn't bother me. And even if you were a left-handed diamond painter, you would just probably open them the opposite way and it wouldn't bother you either. So if you haven't tried them, I do recommend. I'm not an affiliate with them. I'm not sponsored by them. They didn't send me any for free. I bought them all myself. I just really like the product. So if that's something that interests you, I feel like it is cheaper overall than, you know, investing in a whole 3D printed tray setup. I did have that at one point in my diamond painting career. I had towers and trays from Bella Art de Nicole. I also had made a tower tray setup from Mooney Made with a lot of Mooney Made. It actually was a mix of Mooney Made trays and then DP Gal Creations trays. Which, if you did not know, DP Gal Creations, they are another Canadian small shop. They actually reopened recently, and their daughter took over the business. I think they're doing drops on a smaller scale. You can check out their Facebook group, so you can be in the know when they do drop new color trays. They make good trays. I don't think they've been upgraded at all. The one issue I had with their trays were they don't work very well for round diamond paintings, because round diamonds are a little bit bigger. And the owner at the time, I remember her saying that she works on mostly squares. So that's kind of what the tray was based off of. They worked really good with Diamond Art Club squares, but I found with the rounds get stuck very easily in those trays. So for rounds, that's when I switched to Yellow Dog Designs, and they work great with both shapes. And multiple companies, I've had good success, so that's kind of my go-to tray right now. But it changes, like I said, over the years. I've probably had trays from every diamond painting shop: Bijou Bliss, Firefly Diamond Art, Mooney Made, Bella Art Diamonds, Yellow Dog Designs, DP Gal Creations, Les Creations, Declos. I have some trays from Les and Ciela DP, which I haven't unboxed yet, I don't think. Realizations, Eric and Kareen, they also make 3D printed trays that work very nicely. I have a few of those. There's probably a lot more that I'm missing. There's so many small shops popping up all the time with 3D printed trays. And Dynamite Diamond Shop is another one. That's an American shop. I really like their trays too. They work really well for all sorts of diamonds. I feel like their line spacing is a bit wider, so it accommodates, you know, diamonds from all sorts of different shops. And yeah, I tend to try everything, but then I will gravitate towards a favorite, and I just grab the favorite. Because when I diamond paint, I can't diamond paint for too long these days, so I want it to be as comfortable as possible and as hassle-free as possible. I hate fussing around with things, right? When you're just in so much pain. I don't know about those of you who deal with chronic pain, but you just have patience. You don't have much patience anymore. You are very quick to like get frustrated, or at least I am. The current thing that I get frustrated with these days is putty. I have a whole bunch of different putty that I go through on a weekly basis. Creations Marin is one of my go-to putties. I really like it. It doesn't work that well with ABs in my experience. Now, this diamond painting I'm working on right now has 0 ABs in it, so I haven't been able to test it to jog my memory, but from what I remember, it sticks to the ABs. But I found a new putty that I really have been liking called Patsy Putty. And she recently decided to go full-time in her diamond painting putty shop. So she'll be making putty full-time, and I'm sure she'll be bringing in new products now that she focuses 100% of her time to her shop. Her putty is amazing. I was using it, but because this kit doesn't have any ABs, I thought I'd go back to this putty because I really like the stick of this putty. It lasts the longest, I find. Creations Marin. Patsy Putty is a little bit less sticky overall, but you can use it with ABs and it works flawlessly, at least in my experience. So I did order some more of that. She actually just launched something called the Basic line, where she's going to be, I believe it's every Friday. It ends up being 5 p.m. Pacific time, if I'm not mistaken. She's going to do a Basic line drop in her Etsy shop, and the scents will rotate. What was the last weeks? I think it was like different floral scents, like lilac and wisteria, and there were some really nice scents. So I just got a bunch for me and Mom, because Mom, I gave her some to try it, and she really liked it too. She was finding putty frustrating for a bit too. I think we all go through those phases where we have a favorite thing, whether it be a tray, a pen, or putty. But for some reason or another, during a certain day or week, we just find it just doesn't work for us, or it's more finicky. A lot of it, at least for putty, has to do with weather, right? But yeah, I got that, so I'm excited for that to come in. I really like her putty, and I will be trying to pick a diamond painting with ABs next so that I can work with that putty on that kit so you guys can see it. Patsy Putty is a USA small shop. When I bought, I believe shipping was 20 something. So when I usually buy from USA small shops, I try to order like a few things so that it will last me quite a while. That way it makes shipping worth it. I will find out when it arrives if I have to pay customs. My first order from them, I didn't have to, but I know I bought a little bit more this time because I was buying for me and Mom. So if there's a custom fee, I will obviously let you know in the unboxing, but so far there hasn't been. The owner's lovely and I really enjoy her putty. So you can look forward to that coming up. I am, or we are, I should say, in the middle of our May diamond painting event. I'm sorry that I ended up turning out to be a little more sicker than I anticipated. I thought May would be a good month. I thought I was feeling good last month. Like I thought, you know what, I think May's going to be a strong month. And then I got sick and it just snowballed. So I'm really struggling, but I am managing to keep up with help with my mods and some of my group as experts that have really been helping me manage the group posts and such. I really appreciate all of you guys. You know who you are. And people in the group in general who engage on posts, who make sure others, you know, you comment on their posts. I noticed for week 3 progress posts, as I was going through, I am planning on doing a WIP parade. At first, I thought, no, I'm just going to announce the winners in a list on Facebook. But I woke up today, which is Sunday that I'm filming, and I feel strong today. So I've gotten everybody's image who has posted it already. It is, I think it's like 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday in the slideshow already. So tomorrow when I wake up, I'll be able to finish that off. So I will have that on Wednesday for you. So that will be exciting. I know a lot of you like sitting back and watching everybody's WIPs. I actually enjoy doing it too. But what I noticed this week was so many people are commenting on each other's photos, and I just love it. I love seeing that. That is what community is all about. I try and post and comment on everybody's stuff that I can when I see it, and I know my mods try really hard too, but to see group members also going above and beyond, taking time out of their day to do that as well, please know I see it and I really appreciate it, because that's what makes a strong community and a great group, right? When we're all working together for the common good and we're all doing what we love. So just know that it's appreciated, and I noticed a lot of you this week stepping up and doing that, and it just made my heart so happy when I was struggling so much. It just made me smile, so I really appreciate all of you guys. This diamond painting has been going pretty darn well. Now, I don't know if you can see a little bit of gapping in some of these light colors. Now, I'm not being super anal about my placement. In her face, I was a lot more careful, but in these other areas, I'm obviously doing a good job, but if there's a little bit of an off-kilter or a bit of a wavy line, I'm not too bothered by it. What I have been doing in the light areas is going through with my straightener after and just straightening the lines out a little bit. And then depending on how the finish look is, I might go through with mica powder and cover up a little bit of these gaps. It would just fill it in enough that it wouldn't be so noticeable, because this is definitely one that I want to display for a little while at least. Most of my diamond paintings, if you've been around, you know that I like displaying them in the bathroom. That's where my husband has given me permission. And I say that kind of jokingly. It's a mutually agreed upon agreement. He is a great interior decorator, and he's made our house look amazing. So the fact he lets me put up diamond paintings at all is a blessing. So the bathroom it is. But it's a room that we use a lot during the day. And I get to see the diamond painting a lot regardless, so I'm quite happy. So this one will definitely be going up. This is my first Margaret Morales that I'm actually ever working on. When I started diamond painting, DIY Moon Shop, which is now out of business, or I should say it switched ownership, but I don't think it really did. Like, I think they just bought the name. Some of the artists had already signed with other shops. I don't really understand it all, but it just seemed like the new owner, which is Diamond Painting Fanatics, just bought the rights to the name and then kind of combined it, and I guess probably got some customers from them as well. But DIY Moon Shop is no longer. You can still find some of their diamond paintings in destash groups. I've seen a lot of people destashing those. But when I started diamond painting, they had stopped their specialty, I'm going to call it their specialty kits. Like, they used to, from what I understood, was they'd get them shipped from China to the Philippines, then they would you know, packaged them themselves and put extra care, and they'd add wrapping paper, and everything was amazing. The customer service was above board, and it was just like, it was a premium diamond painting company at one point. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it was COVID or what, but quality started deteriorating. So I did buy from them, but I didn't ever complete one because I didn't like what I saw. I destashed them. So I'm really happy that Diamond Art Club got Margaret Morales, and I think they're doing an amazing job on their artwork. I think they have an amazing rendering team. We've seen that every week this past year, I would say. I feel like their rendering team is just stepping it up, and they're amazing. In some of these images we've seen, and I'm blanking on the artist's name. You guys will know it. It's the 2 images that have been released where the lady figure in the image is a ghost, so she's translucent. The first image, she was walking upstairs. The second image was, I think, like Stonehenge, if I'm not mistaken. The one where she was walking up the stairs, that rendering, I think, probably could go down in a record book for one of the best renderings, just based on how translucent they made the lady and just how it turned out. I think it turned out amazing. Kate, if you're watching, you guys are awesome over there. I know Kate, if you don't know, her artist name is Pixie Sticks. She actually also is an artist, and that is why she's so good at her job. She works with Diamond Art Club, or for Diamond Art Club, I should say, on their rendering team, but she also makes artwork for diamond paintings for Diamond Art Club. And they recently released one of her landscape type images, which I did not pick up this time, but I plan on picking it up at some point, hopefully on the next restock, fingers crossed. Because I don't usually go for landscapes, but I love her image because it's a perfect size for somebody like me who would like to do a landscape, but just can't tolerate the size of them. I think her rendition is beautiful, and it turned out wonderfully. But yes, you guys, the rendering team at Diamond Art Club, whoever else works with you, you guys are smashing it out of the park. At least I think so. And I know I've seen other people comment the same. Check out her channel too, Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper. She is such a sweet person. She's got really like wholesome content and just genuinely nice human being. Very easy to listen to as well. So if you don't already follow her, make sure you do too. But anyways, I've kind of chatted a little bit about diamond painting stuff so far, but I know a lot of you want to know what the heck is going on with me and how am I doing? Now let me just see, did I just finish this color? I think I did. Let's switch the color out, and I'm going to open my agenda and take a quick peek. I actually don't know when I filmed my last WIP and Chat. Let me actually look at that as well. I have my phone somewhere. Where did I put it? Under the paper. And let's go back to YouTube and let's see when my last WIP and Chat went up. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. It feels like it's been longer than that. Let me see my agenda here. I try and write notes down because, as I said, my memory is like Swiss cheese and there's just holes in it. I blame lack of oxygen. I actually do. I'm pretty sure if there was a way to like image that and see if that's actually like, did I lose brain matter? Because if you don't know, I've been dealing with something called central apnea for over 2 years now, and it actually hasn't been properly treated this entire time. I've been treated with something called a CPAP, and that works for obstructive apnea, which I do not have. I have central apnea, which originates in the brain. My brain doesn't tell my lungs to breathe when I'm sleeping. Sometimes during the day too, as well, actually. Sometimes I have to put on this breathing machine in the daytime because I just can't get air in. And it's really scary when you can't breathe. Oh my, that one has a hole in it. Don't you hate when you put a diamond down and you notice it has a hole? I'll have to change that after. I don't have my tweezers near me. But anyways, yeah, so I only recently got set up with the correct machine, which is called a BiPAP machine. And it actually has been making me sick. When I had my sleep study that determined, you know, I needed a BiPAP, and it also determined, you know, what kind of pressure settings I needed, my apnea events were really crazy high for some reason. Since that test, they had gone down again, and it kind of varies, and I think it has to do with the nature of the nerve damage I have and the scar tissue that I have that I'm waiting for more surgery for. The phrenic nerve, which is the nerve that controls our diaphragm and breathing, can be irritated on any given day. And if it's more irritated one day, I will have more apnea events. Makes sense, right? Sometimes things like medication can also, like pain medication, can also affect apnea events. But for me, I actually don't notice that. My numbers don't change, you know, on days where I have to take more pain medication versus other days, my numbers will stay the same. So for me, it's not really medication induced. It's more, I think, related to the damage to that phrenic nerve. And also I have still a partially paralyzed diaphragm. I mean, it's moving, but we don't know how much it's moving. I mean, the last time I had it tested, it was barely moving. So I doubt it's miraculously working at 100% right now, but who knows, because my actual apnea events had gone down after that test. So the point is, when they set me up with the BiPAP, they had me on the pressure settings based from the sleep study, which actually were too high for me because at the current time, I just don't need that much pressure. So what was happening was the air that the machine was forcing in, not only was it going into my lungs, but it was also going into my stomach and then into my abdomen, and it was getting trapped there. And I don't know if you've ever had a colonoscopy is a good example, gas pain from that, or if you've had a really bad, digestive illness, or you have inflammatory bowel disease, the kind of gas pains that you can get are really, really debilitating. And I thought maybe I had just come down with a bug. I also have the condition I tell you all the time, where my automatic nervous system is broken. Digestion is automatic, so that is also not working properly in me, though to the degree we're not quite sure. I'm just only starting investigations for that, so we're not quite sure. We definitely know it's impacted, but the problem with the BiPAP was I was just swallowing so much air. It was becoming trapped in my stomach and my small intestine, and it was incredibly painful. I couldn't eat because I was just full of air. There was no room for food, so I wasn't eating, so I was getting very lethargic. I also stopped drinking, not intentionally, like water and stuff. The nature of feeling sick, I was very lethargic, very sleepy. There were some days like I just slept all day. I woke up for an hour here and there, and then I would doze off for 2 to 3 hours, and very lethargic, so very sedentary as well. And yeah, my digestive system was just shutting down. So I ended up having to go to the hospital this past Thursday. I woke up in the morning and I was really sick. I was really struggling. I was trying to let it pass. I had taken something for nausea. It wasn't working. I took something else. I was feeling even worse. So I decided to try a sip of ginger ale, because sometimes ginger ale for me, it does settle a nauseous stomach. And instead it did the opposite. It made me throw up everywhere and kind of too much information. I'm a nurse, so this kind of stuff doesn't bother me, but it was all undigested food because my digestive system's not working. So it was all undigested food from the day, probably even the 2 days before. So it was really disgusting and painful. During that, actually, my husband woke up because he heard me kind of yelling for help, and he got me settled after, and I was trying to ride it out, and I said, you know what, I feel so sick, I don't think I can do this. So we were getting ready to go to emergency, and we were in the car, and then I was throwing up again, this time all bile, and it was so violent that I threw my neck out at the same time. I could feel something in my neck, like a disc slip. I've felt this before. So ever since then, I've been dealing with really severe neck pain again. But I got to the hospital. They were great. The nurses that were there were actually nurses that I worked with when I worked at this hospital. And they recognized me and they got me in really quick. The nurses got me the medications that nurses are able to give in emergency. We have a wider scope of practice. There are certain preset orders that nurses can initiate based on diagnoses like abdominal pain. In that, it's usually included like pain medication. I can't remember what the order set actually is, but I think it might be like Advil, Tylenol, and then also an opiate. For really bad pain, you can give up to 2 doses before the doctor needs to order more. And then they also can give nausea medication and start IV fluids. So they did all that for me, and it did help a little bit, but man, I was so sick. I was sick for hours in emergency. I was in so much pain, so much discomfort. It was really bad. I was even feeling a little bit delirious, to be honest. And I think it was because I was really dehydrated. They got a bolus of fluid into me, a liter of fluids, and even that made me feel so much better. They finally got me settled. The doctor came to see me, and he prescribed a few different medications to help calm the digestive system down, which worked amazingly. For those that are healthcare people. They gave me Buscopan and Maxaran. Those are the ones that really worked. I was shocked at how much relief I had with them. They decided that they wanted to keep me in to run some tests. They wanted an ultrasound. They wanted me to see a GI doctor, and they wanted me to have a CAT scan. So, or the GI doctor saw me, and then he ordered a CAT scan. So they wanted to keep me in hospital for like 3 days. Obviously, if you've been privy to my updates, you know that I did not stay in hospital 3 days. I convinced them to let me go home because I'm a nurse and I'm stubborn. My husband is also a nurse, and my parents, my mom especially, can also come over if I need her help. So I felt confident. They got my symptoms under control enough so that I could tolerate taking oral medications again, which means I felt like I could care for myself at home following their guidelines. The only thing I don't have at home is the IV fluids, but I was able to tolerate water at the hospital, and so far I've been able to tolerate it at home. And I'm really, really, really trying to drink more. Like I said, because I was feeling so sick and lethargic for the past 2 weeks, I was just really dehydrated. I was not keeping up with my fluids, which is not good. And I wasn't eating, barely eating, because my stomach was full of trapped air, and it's just not moving is what's happening. It's not working. So if you can imagine a digestive system that's not working, and you keep trying to eat or drink, you know, all of that stuff builds up, builds up, builds up until it comes out. So yeah, it's Sunday morning now that I'm filming this, and I actually woke up today feeling pretty darn good. I'm in my usual pain. My neck is really sore because I threw it out during Thursday's episodes of vomiting, but otherwise I felt pretty strong today, so that's why I'm here doing a WIP and Chat. I felt like I could do this. I asked my husband to help set me up before he left for work, so he did. Thank you, husband. And yeah, I'm sitting here talking to you guys. So I'm definitely not better. I mean, I guess I am better, but I'm not fixed. Like, I'm still sick. So I ask people, you know, definitely, you know, if you send me a message, I may not get to it right away. If you have something, an urgent concern, especially in regards to the Facebook group or the diamond painting event, please message Patty. She's my co-admin. I made her an admin a long time ago. Having a feeling that, you know, my health might take me away sometimes, and I needed somebody as backup. And then my mods, Margot and Tanel, can also help. Tanel does work full-time though, so if she takes a while to respond to you, that is why. Patty is home like I am, and I believe Margot is home most of the time too, though Margot is more of a night owl, so you will hear from her more during the nighttime. But Patty is available during both the day and into the night too. So yeah, for a while, maybe for another week or so, if you have concerns, reach out to them first. I mean, I'm not going to get mad if you reach out to me too, but just don't expect a response, and don't expect a timely response. Even saying that, you guys know me, I respond fairly quickly because I have nothing else to do. And like I said, when I feel sick is when I scroll social media, so that's when I start reading messages. It's just, do I have the energy to thoughtfully respond to everything or not at the time, right? Let me just eyeball this and make sure I did miss a few over here. I have to say, I'm absolutely loving these Diamond Art Club kits. This kit is what I consider the fully upgraded kit. I know they say that they upgraded their square grid canvas like 2 years ago. At least that's what I've seen them post in the VIP group. But there was a transition period, and I've heard my fellow Diamond Art Club creators and sneak peekers mention it too. There was kind of like an in-between period where there was a mix of old and new diamonds, and they fit a little bit differently. Not much, but enough that it was noticeable. So now that we have the upgraded, you know, the newest version of diamonds for the time being, and on the new grid, they're fitting together like butter. Like, you know, yes, you might see a little gap here and there, but that's more my placement. If I would place them, if I single place checkerboarded this, it would probably even out and look completely perfect. But if you didn't know, over time this glue will actually cure more as it's exposed to air, so your diamonds will pull together a little bit more once it's completed as well. That does happen probably over a period of weeks to months, I have to say, but it does happen. We noticed that mostly when they came out with their mystery kits. Like the very first run of the mystery kits, there was more gapping. I think that was before that they shrunk their square drill field, and there were gapping in that, and you could see it because the mystery kits were white and black at the time. but I think it was Katie, Diamonds and Washi. I think it's her that I saw posted a video of kind of like a before and then a few weeks later, and you could see the difference that with exposure to air, the glue did cure and did pull the diamonds together a little bit. So you might not even need to do something like the mica method for some of these paintings. I would just let it sit on room air, you know, and see what happens. But yeah, that mica method, I did post a video that, of course, is not, I don't take credit for that. That was Jaded Gem Shop came up with that. I'm pretty sure she came up with it. It's where, oh shoot, guys, I just spilled diamonds everywhere. It's where I heard about it first, at least, and it's a great method. I really like it. I mean, you don't really need it for this kind of Diamond Art Club painting, but it does come in handy if you're super picky and, you know, little tiny spaces like over here might bug you when you look at a painting. Quick little dab of mica powder in those spaces, it solves your problems, and it works really well. Let me just pick these up and I'll fast forward through this part. Okay guys, I'm back. I finished that and I put another color. Here's this very tiny tray. You can actually use your a nice size multi-placer in this tray too. I mean, it is tiny, but it's not that small. I'm actually really happy I got this one. I think Patty reminded me in one of her posts about some new products. They also had a new, I think that diamond doesn't belong there, no. They also had a wax pot that you can put the wax bars from Dream Wax Studio in. I don't have it next to me. It's just a 3D printed little kind of rectangular container. If you didn't know, for the duration of our event, Dream Wax Studio actually has 10% off the wax bars. So you could pick up a wax bar from her shop and then also get a container from Yellow Dog Designs, support two of our sponsors, and yeah, get yourself some diamond painting wax. I do like using her wax for some of the ABs. It just depends. It's usually dependent on the weather, because the warmer it is, the softer wax is, and the softer wax is, the more residue it can leave. Let me get the next color here. So I'm just gonna look at my calendar and see what, I wonder what 2 weeks was ago. I actually did not write down when I filmed my last WIP and Chat, which I usually try and do when I do it so that I can remember, because I don't want to, you know, backtrack and update you on things that I've already updated you on, you know. Oh yeah, my dad's not been doing good. He has basically end-stage COPD. COPD is a lung disease, often from smoking. He started smoking when he was 13, and I think he quit in his 30s, but he still developed chronic lung disease, and he has not been doing very well. He's been very sick. His oxygen requirements have increased, and he just doesn't feel like it's working anymore. However, we just found out that his oxygen, you can get oxygen delivered in two ways. You can have an oxygen tank that delivers 100% oxygen, right? Like hospital tanks. Or you can have something called a room concentrator, which takes the room air and does something in this machine to make it into oxygen that supports the lungs. And he just found out that his machine he's had, I think, for 11 years was only working at 53%. So it should have been working close to 100%. It was like doing half its job, so no wonder he's been feeling sick. So I'm hoping that once he gets his new machine, which I think the company is trying to implement pretty quickly because he is so severe. I mean, his oxygen, I think it goes down into the 70s, 60s when he's really sick on movement. And the kind of movement, I'm not talking like aerobics class, I'm like getting up from your chair and walking to the kitchen kind of movement. So I'm hoping maybe that he's actually not like doing really bad, and it's just that his oxygen machine isn't working, and that's the problem. That would be a blessing. As much as me and him butt heads and don't get along, I really don't wish any harm. And it's really hard to see your loved one struggle. One of the conditions I have, the dysautonomia, dysfunction of the automatic nervous system, they actually say that as a patient we feel just like somebody with COPD or congestive heart failure. So in a way, I kind of know what it feels like to feel like you cannot breathe and you're choking and drowning. So I do empathize. Of course, I think obviously not to the same degree that he feels it, but I do empathize with it. And it's not fun watching your loved ones struggle like that. Not at all. It's actually quite scary, even though I'm a nurse. I think it's more scary as a nurse because I know what the outcome is. I know what the future holds, and it's just really hard thing to kind of wrap my head around, you know. And I always thought that the thought of one day, you know, losing him to his disease, it never really bugged me, but I feel like the closer that it's kind of getting, the more unsettled I feel, and yeah, it's just a hard place to be in. You know, I'm sure people who have been diagnosed with cancer, you know, palliative cancer, must feel a similar type of way. It's kind of like you have an expiry date. And they actually did. I think at one point they told my dad he would be lucky if he got to 65, and now he's over 70. I think he's 71 or 72. So he's already beaten the odds, you guys. So that's a good thing. But I can't imagine what it's like to be given an expiry date. I just don't know how you process that and live with that, you know. But anyway, enough sad stuff. Let's pour this color out. I already talked about the BiPAP. I talked about being sick and in the hospital. I did go to my in-laws for dinner before I ended up being sick. That was nice. We caught up with them. Usually we go over there when I have my stepson, but just the way things work out. He is a teenager now. He is 13, and he is very busy in basketball and, you know, friends, and they have a big family community. They're Filipino, so they have lots of family, lots of friends. We don't see him as much as we probably would like to, so usually we take him over to my in-laws so that they can spend time with their grandson, because that's the only way that they see him. We all live a little far away from each other, right? So, but he was busy. He was going away camping for the long weekend. We had a long weekend in Canada the previous weekend. And yeah, he was gone. So we went to my in-laws for dinner, and that was really nice. I was actually really worried I would not tolerate it very well, and I did really good. And I enjoyed myself. It did wear me out. I did crash the next day, but aside from that, it was really nice. They live in a beautiful property in the mountains, trees everywhere. Actually, 10 minutes before we arrived, they had 3 bears come through the property, a mama and her 2 cubs. They always have bears and wildlife on their property. It's really cool to see. They never seem to come by when we're there, though. In their old house, they used to all the time. Anytime my father-in-law would start cooking lunch, the bears would smell it, especially if it was meat. Their favorite, I remember, was when he was making like a meat lover's pizza with this Italian sausage. The bears came. It was just crazy. And they were like in the backyard staring in, waiting to be served. Basically, of course, if we did not feed them. My father-in-law is actually, his job used to be a bear aware program in the city that they live in. He was in charge of that, so he knows a lot about bears and wildlife. And I hope to one day be able to live in an area like they live in. That would be amazing. It would be so therapeutic. Oh my God, you guys, I just spilled drills everywhere again. Okay, let me pause this while I clean up this mess, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, that's the problem with nerve damage. My left arm, sometimes it just jumps, and if I'm holding a container of diamonds, there they go. That's the problem. Usually when I'm diamond painting on the couch, I'm so cramped up in a way that I don't actually spill them like that. If I spill them, there's only a few, and they usually slide down onto my t-shirt, and I can pick them up easily. But diamond painting here on this flat table, I think it's because it's harder for me to see too, and it's just different, different setup. But crisis averted. What was I even talking about? I think I was talking about bears. Anyway, they live on beautiful property. I hope one day, we are silently hoping maybe one day they will have a property where they can build on. The property they are on, there's power lines going over part of the property, so they actually can't build on it, which is sad because they had the intention of building us like a small house on their property, and like by all means, if you look at the property, it would be perfect for it. Oh my God, I would be forever grateful to everybody everywhere if that would have been a possibility, but because of the power lines, they're not legally able to build there. So unless they decide to move or convert their basement, that that kind of dream is off the bucket list for now, but maybe one day. I don't know if this is their final house. They are still young. I believe they're still in their 50s. They had my husband when, or my mother-in-law had my husband when she was quite young. So I think they are still young in terms of age. So I don't know if this is their last property or if, you know, they'll have, you know, one more house. I know that they always wanted to move to the island, which is Victoria area. So maybe one day in the future, one can dream, right? I think it's always good to have dreams. But as I finish up this section, let me just see, have I talked about everything? I think I kind of have. A few other things, you know, some of the other doctors I see, we do injections still. The last time I got her to do just lidocaine injections, and I asked her if we could pause Botox, because if you caught my, you know, one of my last updates, you know that my last round of Botox, they usually injected in the muscles in my neck, my head, my shoulders. It actually made me fairly sick. And I don't want to be sick anymore. I'm so tired of being sick. So I had asked her what she thought about taking a break from Botox. And she thought it might be a good idea because I've been on it every 3 months consistently, at least for 2 years, maybe even 3 years now. It does work for symptom management. But she said I could also be building a bit of a resistance to it. So having a break might not be a bad idea. So I think we're going to try that. I am a little bit nervous because right now, like, my pain is increasing. I can tell that the Botox is wearing off. So I would be due for Botox. Oh, I just closed my agenda. I think in the next 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, sometime in June. So it'll be interesting to see how I manage. What I'm hoping is, sorry, I didn't even notice if I'm in frame or not. What I'm hoping is that the lidocaine infusions that I'm getting kind of take place of Botox in terms of pain management, so that I'm still getting pain management and we can take that little break from Botox. So please cross your fingers that that works. If you pray, keep me in your prayers. I'm hoping that that gives me a break from the Botox. The lidocaine infusions seem to be helping the most out of everything I've ever tried. Again, for those of you that don't know what that is, they inject a little needle in my tummy, send me home with a contraption that injects something called lidocaine, which is a type of like local anesthetic. And it's used in chronic pain patients. You may have heard of a treatment called ketamine treatments. Lidocaine is along the similar lines, except it's just below ketamine. If lidocaine doesn't work, then we go to ketamine. But lidocaine overall is a little bit easier on the body, and it's also a little bit safer, like less risky. So that's why we went with that. And because it seems to be working, we just have to find the right dose for me. We are sticking with it. So I actually go for another lidocaine infusion next week. I think it's on Wednesday. So keep me in your thoughts for that. That is always a stressful day because we have to drive into the big city, which is Vancouver, BC. And it's a big city. There's a lot of traffic and a lot of cars and a lot of lights and a lot of stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, and jaywalkers. And it's just a stressful day. I think, yeah, my husband is off, so he'll be driving me. If my husband works, then my parents drive me because I just can't handle a drive like that. It's about a 45 to 60-minute drive, I would say, depending on traffic. I can't tolerate that, because I have to come home too, right? So that would make it about a 2-hour driving day. And if I did that, 1, I'm at risk of crashing, and 2, I would not be good the next day. So every chance I get to, you know, what I say, take shortcuts so that I'm not in a crash or in agony or very sick, then that's what I do. Otherwise, you know, I'm just living a life of being sick, and it's just not fun. So that is coming up. I'm actually looking forward to that because the doctor has increased the dose by 200 milligrams. I'm hoping that this one will be very effective. That's usually they increase it by 1 or 100 milligrams. No. Yeah, 100 milligrams. This time they're jumping up to 2. So I'm hoping that maybe we're going to be getting closer to my therapeutic dose. There is no, like, you know, one dose suits all. It's very dependent on how your body metabolizes the medication, how it works within your body, and all the different kind of things, right? So there is no, like, you know, 1,000 milligrams and you're going to be good. It's trial and error, which means, you know, I go for them every month. So each month we just keep upping the dose until we find that sweet spot for me. I'm hoping that sweet spot comes soon. I really don't like medication, and it's always better to be on the lowest dose of anything if you can be, of course, right? Less side effects, less risk. So I'm hoping that this dose works. Hope for me, pray for me. I also have to book an appointment for a new specialist. I don't know, you know, in my phone, I don't have many contacts in my phone. I don't have many, like, I'm going to say real life people I talk to. Everybody's online now, right? Everything's through, you know, Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. But usually my phone is just family now. Used to be work colleagues, but I don't work anymore, so those have been gone. Anyways, the biggest list on my phone is doctors. It is so long, you guys. I think the last time I counted, there were 12 specialists in my phone. So I'm going to have a 13th specialist. This guy is technically a general surgeon. He's the guy that I saw in my most recent hospital admission. He's also a GI doctor. So he's going to, you know, take a look and make sure that my digestive system is, the medications that they prescribed me to go home on are working. And he's also going to actually, I'm going to have a scope of my stomach. So they're going to, you know, take a camera down my throat and take a look, make sure that there's no, you know, inflammation or ulcers or anything, you know, crazy going on down there. So I have to book that. And then he'll also follow up with me in general. So it'll be really nice. I'm really looking forward to having him on my team. I actually used to work with him. He's a really good doctor. He used to be a nurse before he was a doctor, which, if you're in healthcare, you know that they make the best doctors if they were nurses first. They're just a little bit more empathetic and understanding to patients and also to nurses in general. But this finishes off this section. So let me perforate this. Let me move this stuff off or to the side so that I could show you this diamond painting. And just zoom out a little bit. So this is the section we finished today, a little bit here and then here. As I said, I love how these the newest of everything, these squares are lining up. It doesn't take a lot of force to fit them in. Like, you might hear the clicking, but you're not having to jab them in and really put force, which I like. I actually had to stop doing squares for a while when it was the mix of the old and new drills because I was finding the spacing too tight in some areas, and it was really making my arm hurt. So I had to stop. So I'm absolutely loving this. Diamond Art Club, I really don't see how you can make your squares even better. I like them how they are. Leave them alone. They look amazing. And they're super sparkly these days. Like, squares have a different kind of sheen than round diamonds do, but look at that. They are super sparkly. So let's go up here. I've got my 2 cover minders here. I always leave a couple cover minders on my diamond painting because if I don't quite finish one of these sections, what I've been doing, actually, I'll show you here, is... of course, I don't have nails right now or my tweezers. Let me see if I can lift this section off. I think I can. Here we go. So I kind of pull. I have to feel here. This one actually doesn't need to be there. I'm going to feel it's right here. So what I do when I perforate these is I perforate them on both sides and of course here. So I pull it down. And I go slowly, and you should hear that clicking if it's tearing right on the line. And then I leave this one here. I don't tear this one off until I'm completely done this section. That way, if I've only partially put diamonds down here, I can pull this back up. And then I just put one of these little cover minders on top to secure it to the glue until I work on it again. And then what I'll do with this washi tape that I pulled back here is I'm going to put it down this way. I recently bought a package of this kind of washi. It's actually thin washi tape. It's not so wide, from Amazon. And I decided I wanted to use this instead just to make the perforations visible. So now I can clearly see where the line ends and where it starts. And for me, like, this is actually lining up perfectly. So I don't have to worry about, even down here, when I look down at this line, like, they're lining up perfectly, you guys. Awesome. Anyway, we are looking at this entire diamond painting. So let me zoom out. Can I zoom out even more? That's the max. So I'm going to pull it down this way. Look at her face. Isn't she just gorgeous? Somebody recently finished this diamond painting for our event. I love seeing it finished. Can't wait to see mine finished. They've thrown some crystals in here. I'm very interested to see once it's completed what it'll look like. Usually crystals, when I put crystals in a painting, they're very, like, they're placed methodically, whereas these ones are kind of just sprinkled throughout a little bit to put a little bit of, what do you call it? shine, extra shine, I guess, in certain areas. Like there's some over here too, where like kind of here and here. If I kind of do that, you can see that. And then I did add some enhancements into her crown. Now I'm not certain if I like them or not, the way that they turned out. Let me zoom back into her crown. So these red jewels here, I switched some special diamonds in. I have some different shades of pink crystals. I also put a couple red metallics in, which I think actually look really nice. It's some of this lighter pink crystal that I put in. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it. I think I might actually swap it out for a darker color. I recently went through my crystals and gave a bunch away during my diamond painting event. So you'll find if you win one of my prize packs, I think I put crystals in every goodie bag just for fun. So I thinned it out, so I didn't have a lot of options. I didn't pre-plan blinging this kit up at all. I wasn't going to, but there's jewels in the crown. I feel like you have to bling it up. That would have been nice to see Diamond Art Club bling up. Maybe in the future, if anyone at Diamond Art Club is listening, like jewels in a crown, add some crystals in there, or even metallics. There is some kind of gold metallic surrounding here. You can kind of see it. If I had the stamina, and if I was more professional, like a pro at blinging things up, I might add more of this gold metallic to here. Like I feel like you could outline it here, and I think that would look pretty good. If I have enough left over, maybe I will go through and do that. I have to look at the original artwork, like actually on a computer to see, but that's maybe what I would have done instead, is outline this in metallic just to, yeah, outline it. But then again, Margaret Morales' artwork doesn't really have a lot of bold lines. It's much softer. Like you can see how all these colors blend in. So that might make it too bold. I don't know. And then if you can see on the tips of these little spikes, I added pink and red crystals there too. So it doesn't really come through the camera that well, but in person it does. Again, I'm not sure if I really like the lighter color. I think it might be too light. So I might go in and, yeah, I think I'm going to pull those and replace them. So next time, or at least in the post review, you will see that looking a bit differently. But isn't this gorgeous? Look at all these colors up here. It's so beautiful. I am absolutely loving this diamond painting. Perfect quality, perfect experience. I'm having no issues. The glue is sticky. There's no unsticky areas. The perforated plastic is awesome. I love it. Diamonds are great quality. I'm not having a lot of trash in any color. Yeah, no, everything is perfect. It really is. I'm not just saying that because I'm affiliated with them. It really is a good quality. That's why I am affiliated with them, because I really like their products. And their customer service is awesome. Never once had an issue. But here we go. Isn't she beautiful? So this wraps up my WIP and Chat. I hope I updated you guys enough that you get a picture. I am on the mend. I am still by no means feeling great. I am still feeling quite weak, quite dizzy, quite sick, but I was strong enough today to pull out some filming equipment and film a WIP and Chat here for you guys. So please make sure to let me know how you are doing in the comments section. I always talk about me, but I really want to know how you guys are. I recognize a lot of your names now. It's hard for me to remember people when I don't see your face, but when I see the same consistent names popping up in my YouTube comments, also over in my Facebook group, I start to get to know you guys. And I do. I think about some of you during the day when I'm diamond painting. Oh, I wonder how so-and-so is, or I haven't heard from so-and-so in quite a while. So if it's been a while since you commented, leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing. Check in. I hope everything's okay. If you made it to the end of this video, why not leave me a crown emoji? I think there's a crown emoji, isn't there, for this Margaret Morales beautiful crown? If there's not, leave me a flower. There's flowers in this painting too. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help any channel grow. It helps get videos out there and recommended to others. If you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I would love to have you. It is completely free, not only to like a video, but also to subscribe. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. You can click the notification bell as well to be notified when videos do go live. And I would just love to have you join our community here on YouTube. And also don't forget to join us on DAC Fans Canada. Canada refers to the destashing portion of that group. Otherwise, everybody else is welcome to join the group, to, you know, engage in the group, comment, share your diamond painting progress, of course, licensed art only, and yeah, join events, everything. The group is otherwise open. It's just if you're destashing, you have to be willing to ship to Canada. So if you are in the US and you're willing to ship to the US and Canada, you can post it in my group. We have a lot of US members as well that also join us. We have some international members too, from the UK, from the Philippines, from all over the place. So it's a great community, and I just I care for it deeply. So don't forget to join us there if you haven't already. Otherwise, I think that's it for today. I'm very happy that I was able to get enough energy to film this WIP and Chat for you. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, happy diamond painting, you guys. Bye.